Hi, this is a lesson on evaluating expressions. It goes with Go Math Lesson 1.11 for 5th grade. And the learning intention is that you, the students, can evaluate expressions using the correct order of operations. After the lesson is finished, check with your success criteria and see, can you do those things? If you can do them, you'll know that you have been successful in this lesson. The skills you're going to need are mental math. So we're not going to be working off problems off to the side. You're going to try to do them in your head. And then, can you apply a set of rules to solve the problems? Our vocabulary is operation, and those are just add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And then we're going to be evaluating these expressions, which are just number sentences. All right, here are the notes from lesson 1.11, and as you go through these, just make sure you're referring to your notes to do the parentheses first, then multiply and divide, and then add and subtract. And that's the order. All right, so let's just take a look at these things, and I'm going to look at them with a highlighter, and you should too. All right, so get your highlighter out. Here's our operations, and we're going to be here's our notes, not our operations. Here's the first expression. It's 4 plus 25 divided by 5. And if you just go left to right, you add 4 to 25 and get 29, and then try to divide that by 5, and you get like 4 or 5 remainder 4 or something like that. But that's not following the order of operations. So level 1 is the parentheses, and we're looking for parentheses. We don't see any. Level 2 is multiply and divide. That's the second or the next thing I'm going to do. I see a division, right? And with your highlighter, you should highlight that and say, I'm going to do that one first before I do the adding, because the adding is a level 3 in the order. So I do 25 divided by 5, and I get 5. Then I add the 4. And then below that, 4 plus 5 is 9, because when I have the plus or adding, I'm on level 3. And so when you see division, do that before you do addition. All right, now we're moving on to the next one over here. And again, with my highlighter, I'm going to highlight what I'm going to do first. Well, on level 1, that's the first thing you do, is parentheses. Now I see 2 sets here of parentheses, so I'm going to highlight that and say I am doing that first before I do the multiplication. And so I add 4 plus 5, and I get 9, and then I'm going to multiply that times 5, and below that I will write 45. So at each level, after you do one of the operations, rewrite the expression, and then do the second level or the next level of in your order of operations. So do you see how I rewrote that and then wrote the answer below? Those who skip that step, when the answers get long or when the questions get long, they get all confused. So again, with the highlighter, on to the next one. Write this expression down on your paper, and then we'll continue. All right, so I see what I'm going to do first, 12 times 5. And then after I figure out what is 12 times 5, I'm going to rewrite the whole expression. Okay, so 12 times 5 is 60. Then I'm going to rewrite the other parts of the expression, minus 15, and then divided by 5. And then with my highlighter again, I'm going to say I still have 2 operations here. I already did the level 1, which is parentheses. I think I'm going to be doing level 2 now, because I see divide. I also see subtract, but subtract comes after divide. So highlight your divide, and then do that part next. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and then rewriting the expression, and of course, I am out of room, so I'm going to write that off to the side here. 60 minus 3 is 57. All right, last one. This one also has multiple operations, and so with our highlighter, we're going to highlight the multiplication first. But I also see that there is another multiplication in here, and I'm going to highlight that too, because I'm going to do both multiplications before I add. So now I'm going to be doing 2 parts of this at once. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25. And what are we doing with those? We're adding. Right, so the addition sign comes straight down. And then you can do 10 plus 25 in your head and get 35. So what did we learn from this? We want to rewrite the expression, highlight the one you're going to do first, and then at the end you write your number. And this is essential because these things are very, very difficult to do completely in your head, and you will get a lot of them wrong if you try. All right, so the second part of this lesson is where we rewrite these expressions, but we add in the parentheses. So it says rewrite with parentheses, and we're going to write parentheses around one of the operations to equal this value so that we make this expression equal that value. And so we take a look at it. 42 divided by 6 plus 15. All right, I'm going to write down the expression, and you should too. 42 divided by 6 plus 15. And then I'm going to look at if I put parentheses around the 42 divided by 6, or should I write the parentheses around 6 plus 15? And we'll just kind of trial and error this one. So if we wrote the parentheses around 42 divided by 6, and then we took our highlighter, as I've showed you, and say we're going to do that one first. All right, 42 divided by 6 equals 7. And then rewrite the other parts of the expression. 7 plus 15 equals 22, and that is the value we're going for here. So that when they say value, that's your target. You're trying to make this expression with parentheses equal 22. And in this case, it did it. So 42 divided by 6 is the part that gets the parentheses. Now, if you did the 6 plus the 15 and got 21, I'm just showing you here, 42 divided by 21 equals 2, and that did not equal our target. So I'm going to erase that because that's something we should not have done. I was just showing you that if you put the parentheses around something other than what you're supposed to, it will not equal 22. All right, so now we have the second one is 100 minus 10 times 5. And our value that we're going for here is 50. So let's see, 100 minus 10, if we put parentheses around that, it would be 90. And then 90 times 5 would be 450, which is way more, right? So let's just write down the expression and continue on here. So I know that if I put the parentheses around 100 minus 10, it wouldn't work, right? 100 minus 10 is 90, and then 90 plus 5, or 90 times 5 is 450. So I know that the parentheses don't go around those. And so I will try them around the second one, 10 times 5. And again, I'm going to do that first, so I'm solving that. 10 times 5 is 50, and then 100 minus 50 equals 50, and that's our target value. So the parentheses would go around the 10 times the 5, not the 10 or 100 minus the 10. All right, your task, page 49, and do that with 90% accuracy, and good luck.